Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. This is Frank Holder. I'm your host. We talk about sports on this show. Let me get ready to bring in my man who does everything, everywhere, all the time. Inside joke, my man Talent has joined the building.
What up, player?
How you doing, sir? How's everything?
You know what? It's a beautiful day, Frank. It's a beautiful day, man. It's chill. A lot of people complaining because, we finally getting the weather we're supposed to have. But it's the right weather for this time of year, and it's my favorite time of year. I like that little brisk cold, 40-something. It's my time.
Yeah. My man Fig is also in the building. What's up, Fig? How you doing, sir?
Man, it feels amazing, man. I felt so excited this morning, man. I got up and did some work in the basement. Okay. At least that's what I'm calling it.
What are other people calling it? That's how you can find out what it really is.
PG show.
My man Mike LaShawn is also joined the building. Mike, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm excellent. Yes, I am. 15 days sober. Yes, I am.
All right.
Player.
There it is.
Let's get it popping.
Happy for you.
So let's get ready to get this show started, man. I got to talk to you, T, because we always talk about the Yankees doing this and doing that and possibly doing this and doing that. My man Justin Verlander said yesterday that it's a good bet he's going to sign with a contender, and being that he just came from the Houston Astros and they just won a World Series, you think that Justin Verlander might land into the pinstripes? Because Justin Verlander is a free agent, you know what I mean? And he just won a World Series with the Houston Astros. You think he's going to leave that boat and land over here? Over there? What you think?
What you saying? He going to bring the luck? Because that's the only way it's good news. If he knows for a fact he going to bring the luck, the Yankees going to be on the tear anyway because the loss. So if he going to bring some of that luck, Frank, I welcome him with open arms to New York. All I would say to any player we ever get in any sport, I hope you're ready.
Okay. All right. I like that thought process. Fig, you see 40-year-old Justin Verlander coming over to the pinstripes?
Oh, that would be amazing, man. And here's the thing. Piggyback off of what you said, Frank, everybody looks good in pinstripes unless they're round.
I never said everybody looks good in pinstripes.
You said, do you think he would look good in pinstripes? And I'm saying everybody looks good in pinstripes.
So do not put words in my mouth.
I know that the smoke is coming off the top of your head being a Boston fan, but I'm sorry to hear that for you.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. Mike, what you think, man? You think a 40-year-old Justin Verlander lands in New York Yankees uniform pinstripes?
Can't hear you, Mike.
I don't know what happened. We heard you a second ago, too.
Here we go. Justin Verlander has won everything he needs to win. He's going to the highest bidder. He is an auction item right now. 35, 45, 45, 60 million. I'm telling you right now. Whoever knows that highest bid out there is getting Justin Verlander. He's going to go to a contender. Why? Because the contenders are the ones that are going to pay him the most money. The Milwaukee Brewers ain't going to pay him $200 million. It's going to be the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Giants, or if the Astros want to re-sign him, or maybe the Mets.
Yeah. Whoever has the most amount of money, whoever wins. Whoever has the biggest cash payout, because he's 40. He's not playing too many more years, maybe 2 more years as a pitcher. He's picking in other news and talking about payment, man. OBJ is making some news this morning, T, because OBJ has surprised a lot of people because he is suing Nike. You know what I mean? And here's the story. He's saying that he announced on Twitter that he's suing them because he hasn't been honored. His endorsement deal hasn't been honored. And he's saying Nike is willfully withholding millions of dollars and inventing excuses not to pay him. The deal was worth up to $47 million. He was supposed to get a last installment of up to $3 million. He didn't get it. OBJ decided he's suing for his money. What's your thoughts on this, T?
I don't blame him, man. I'm looking for something to sue myself. I'm suing kangaroos. Remember them sneakers?
Yeah, they had the pocket.
I'm suing kangaroos myself, Frank. No, but I Here's the thing, man. I'm all for these cats getting their money any form or fashion. And this is what I was talking about like a week ago when I said that we didn't create the system, but we got to navigate through the system. So learn how to manipulate the system. The system will come after you. The system will come after you if you was withholding or didn't do something. So now if you feel like, hey, you guys are withholding and not doing something, you go after the system. I'm all for them exercising their right, trying to get their money, get their bags, because we all know how short-lived a football career could be.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the whole thought process is behind him. Fig, what's your take on it, Nike?
I'm feeling a little suspect with Nike, man. First they messing with Kyrie. Now they messing with OBJ. And OBJ ain't tweet nothing. How about that? What did OBJ do? All he did was get injured. Like Nike, where's that money? You know what? Nike's a brand new company, man. You know, for the most part, as companies go, man, because nobody really was feeling or hearing anything about Nike before Michael Jordan and stuff like that, man. Nike is now they starting to smell themselves a little bit, man. I think the black community needs to check Nike. No pun intended.
The black community.
Mike, Sean, what's your take on them, bro?
Shout to Odell. He's doing what he should have done. He's doing exactly. He's being responsible. He's going through the courts. You probably shouldn't have signed a contract with Rams and have half your money get paid to Bitcoin. But that probably wasn't a good idea. I just found that out watching TV, that a lot of his contract for the Rams was supposed to get paid through Bitcoin, and Bitcoin went down the tank. So he needs all his paper right now. Go get it. And I'm with Fig in all seriousness. In my morning show, I said, you know what? One day, we as a people are going to flex our muscle on how important our dollar is. One day. I just want it to happen one day. And Nike would be a prime example of what would happen to them if we ever boycotted Nike. If we ever threw our Nikes away across this country, but we are so in love with these sneakers, we treat these sneakers like they're family members. Like literally, if we could ever flex our muscle, Nike would be shook. Yeah, but guess what? We won't.
Can I say something to Mike, though? We ain't got to throw our sneakers away. Just don't buy no more.
That's everything down. That's everything down. Before we talk about football, and last night, let's one more story. Former Los Angeles Dodgers star Yasiel Puig had to plead guilty for lying to a federal agents about illegal gambling operations talent. And here's the problem with this pleading. Here's the problem with lying to the feds, which I'm not sure he even realizes it. He lied to them several times, and each lie he said carries up to a sentence of 5 years in prison each. So he agreed to pay the fine, $55,000. He's playing in Korea right now, but the Department of Justice is literally looking for him to handle this thing and else right now. And they say the Department of Justice is saying he started placing bets on several sporting events through a third party as early as 2019 May, and they know for a fact. So he might go to prison. He has a very strong chance of going to prison for this. What's your take on this, bro?
I mean, listen, man. How much did he win?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because shouldn't that, if you're coming down on somebody for betting and gambling illegally, I think what you're winning and you're taking should be considered in there with whatever that punishment or repercussion is going to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, I've always said this, even as a youngster, when I know a third of the things I know in life now, I've always felt like everybody's gambling. I really always felt like everybody's gambling, and everybody's going to use their whatever position they have and their influence to tilt that scale towards them winning money, from referees to front office, you know what I mean, to scouts, to players. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but again, you know, you reap what you sow. If you're going to be doing that, you know it's illegal, you get caught. I mean, may the hammer hit down with me. You know what I mean? How much you won, though?
Yeah, but the problem is, though, Fig, the seriousness of this thing, I don't think Yasiel Puig understands how serious this is because of the language barrier problem he may be having. But he might end up actually be one of the first athletes to actually go to jail for betting. You know what I mean? Well, he's not the first, but he might be one of the ones to go for a long time. You know what I mean? They might make an example out of him. What's your take, Fig?
First off, he's from another country. So he can just say, I don't understand. I tried to answer your question, but I don't know. And let me tell you what the third party was. DraftKings. That's what the third party was. He was betting through DraftKings, but they wasn't popular. You know, nobody knew who DraftKings was. Now they popular because Yasiel Puig lost a lot of money. But then the funny thing is that, look, when the feds call you and they say, you know, we need you to come down and testify, they usually have the answers, you know, to the test, you know, because they're giving the test and they have the answers. So whatever questions they ask you, they just want to know, are you going to tell the truth or are you going to lie? Because they already know. The feds don't call you in like the cops. The cops usually don't know nothing when they stop you. They ask all the questions. The feds got all the answers to the test. So whenever they ask you something, they already know. So you might as well just come clean.
And they want to throw in some more charges on you when you lie to sit down and lie to them. That's what they want to do. For those of you who don't understand the system, Yasiel Puig pleaded guilty. Mike Sean, if he lied 6 or 7 times, each count comes as at least 5 years each. I don't know how long he's gonna get, but I don't see it being no 30, 60 days because of the Department of Justice. What's your take on this?
Hey, Yasiel, tú vas preso. You're going to jail. Did you understand that? My Spanish is choppy, but I can say tú vas preso.
Hey, Mike, tell him don't come back to the country.
Whoa, Fig, whoa, don't push the Spanish too much. Don't push. I only got so many words in me. They knocking on my door to take my Puerto Rican card any minute now. I'm telling you right now. But the whole language thing, it's funny. There was no language barrier when he said, "Give me the Lakers with the points." He knew how to say that. He knew how to say, "Give me the over under." You know, give me the over. His articulation was immaculate when he placed them bets, boy. I just listen, man. I just don't understand. I'll never get it. Maybe it's an addiction, and if it's a gambling addiction, then I'll take it in a different lane. But if it's just something, if it's just something you felt like doing, then your ignorance, you deserve whatever you get. And I don't wish jail or prison on nobody because I honestly don't think it's severe enough. But I don't think these rules should be this severe, but I guess I know why they're doing it because the game would then be fraudulent and the floodgates would open up. But it's the dumbest thing, man. Like I never understood Pete Rose. Like Pete Rose knew exactly what the consequences were going to be. Yeah. And this guy was living the life of a legendary, iconic player. I don't get it. But in Pete Rose's case, I think it was addiction. Yeah. But yeah, whatever happens, man. Where's he playing baseball now? In Japan?
Korea. He's playing Korea.
Yeah. Man, damn, from the Dodgers to Korea.
Yeah. You know, Frank, I was going to ask, I wonder if the charges would be less for gambling simply because gambling is pretty much legal all across the country now. So, I mean, you know, it's almost like right now getting busted for marijuana. It's but like marijuana is legal.
That's why the Department of Justice put out there that he was doing it in 2019 because in 2019, it wasn't what it is now. So. Yeah, it's like marijuana. You got busted moving around marijuana in 1975. You're gonna still handle it.
They letting a lot of them go.
All right, let's keep it moving, bro. A challenge. And here's the situation there. We got to talk about Monday Night Football. Somebody said on the show yesterday that, you know, or any given Sunday and any given Monday night, anything can happen. You know, when the lights come in, Washington upset Philly on Monday Night Football. Taylor Heineke had a monstrous game. I noticed Dave, the business bully, ain't here when Philly gets their first loss. We ain't.
You know that. You knew he wasn't coming.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't coming. But right now, people are saying that maybe Washington might be able to turn things around. You know, Ron Rivera's mom died. The team galvanized around him after his mom passed away. Everything else. Washington defeated Philly. I know I wasn't adamant. I just say, you know, something happens about night games. You've been saying it for a long time. Night games. We all been saying you can't say, you know,
night games. You know, wake the savage beast. Whatever. If you got capabilities in you, them night games, man, is a different ball game. The second best thing in the night game is if you play late at the 4:30. But the best game, if you could chill all day, eat a full meal, work out, you know, get your mind right all day, and then nighttime goes like us taking the stage. Comedy show usually by 8 o'clock. We ready then. Come on. We done did the nasty in the daytime, took a power nap, ate our favorite meal, ironed our clothes, got our smell good on, good fresh shower. We're gonna tear that stage up.
Mm-hmm.
But show up to that 10 a.m. comedy show. God damn, what a coffee. Jeez. What are we talking about here? You know what I mean? So it's a different ball game right there, Frank. And here's the thing about this. What stood out, you mentioned it. His mom died. Now, this is what every team, especially NFC, got to look out for is the momentum shift. Your coach mom dies. Not a week prior, not 4 or 5 days. He's at the funeral day before.
Mm-hmm.
He jumps on a plane, comes back to be there for the Monday night game. Everybody's like, what are you doing here? He's like, yo, let's go. We got to win. This is a big game. They're undefeated. We can beat them, blah, 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 whatever. And it happens. That's the scariest thing that could have happened to Washington right now.
Yeah.
I'm betting on Washington this week for the first time all year.
Yeah. It has thoughts to me like Buster Douglas, when Buster Douglas's mom passed away. He had to fight Mike Tyson. I had the same thought process when I heard about this. I was like, oh, his mom died. I'm watching the game.
Nothing to lose. You feel like you got nothing to lose.
You got nothing to lose. And mom is looking for you. What you think, babe?
Yeah, that and the fact, and the Philadelphia Eagles watched the 5 heartbeats and heard nights like this. Raindrops will fall. It was one of them games, Frank. It's just like it was funny. It's almost like Ron Rivera's mom was like up above doing something to the game, man, because Philadelphia had some uncharacteristic things happen to him, man. Turnovers, a catch that could have been a touchdown. The guy, got up and they knocked it out of his hand. It was a fumble, a turn, like so many turnovers. The hit on Heineke, he gives himself up and me and Tal was talking about this morning. He ran into him and hit him while he was on the ground. Ref standing right there. Pull a flag. I was like, yo, man, it's just like it was the perfect storm of everything that could go wrong for Philadelphia, man. It just happened.
Yeah. They had 3 turnovers in 8 games, and they ended up having 3 turnovers last night. Literally, that's what happened. And Taylor Heineke played a monstrous game last night. But let me ask you this, Mike. Are we looking at maybe some chinks in the armor of the Philadelphia Eagles, or besides the turnovers? Because besides the turnovers, they didn't play too well anyway. Besides the turnovers, what's your take on that, Mike?
All right, the philosophy y'all said about people dying in families, rejuvenating teams. If that's the case, you better watch the rate of family members because they're gonna be dropping like flies if that's a consistent thing. Number 2, I know I'm a recovering alcoholic because I've been calling this guy Heineken for like the last year. I've been calling him Heineken.
Me too.
I don't know. I don't think it's a chink in the armor. I think there's a wave in the NFL where teams are starting to realize if you can really run the ball,
yes,
you can really beat a team that's better than you. If you could really run the ball and control the time of possession,
that's what it is.
Keep Jalen Hurts on the sidelines. Ask Green Bay how they won their game.
Yeah,
they ran the ball down their throats. And people are starting to realize we got so pass happy that everybody had to throw the ball 30, 40 times that we forgot. If you keep the ball and you got 13, 14, 15 play drives, what happens now is you put the pressure on that other offense because every possession turns into gold now. Now they're pressing every possession. Even the one fumble with a receiver for the Eagles caught the ball and got on the ground. And instead of staying on the ground, he popped up because he needed more yards because they know we aren't going to get this ball too many times. Then he got hit from the back and fumbled. Pause with a hit from the back. But I'm just seeing a trend where these teams are really starting to run the ball. If the Cowboys had stayed with their running game against Green Bay, they may have beat Green Bay. Pollard ran for 150 yards. But they had their favorite toy in the back, Dak Prescott, that they were like, we still got to throw the ball deep instead of doing what they were doing consistently. So I wasn't really shocked. I don't think it's a chink in the armor. Fig said it. It's a divisional game. These things happen when a team is 1-8, plays the number one. It's happened to the Giants when we've won the division and still lost to the Eagles, who were had 3 wins.
Right.
So I still think they're going to be the number 1 seed. It's going to be very difficult to catch them right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't think anybody's catching them, but they're going to be number 1 seed coming out the NFC East. T, in other NFL news, Deshaun Watson is coming to the field tomorrow. He's going to be eligible to play December 4th. Everybody, obviously, in Cleveland is very excited about Deshaun Watson happening. Reporters are saying this morning that Cleveland is going to have a lot of changes to do for Deshaun Watson to play and to start winning and everything else. What's your thoughts on Deshaun Watson return and coming back to the Cleveland? Do you think a lot of people now are starting to feel better, especially in Cleveland, in the Cleveland organization, now that they see him walking through the door? Because he's coming back tomorrow.
No, they're nervous, actually, Frank, because he showed up at the facility all last week for massages. So that gave everybody something to worry about. He didn't come in, he didn't throw no balls, he didn't do any drills.
He went straight to the table.
He said he was in there 2 hours a day for 3 days in a row. And the only people that seen him was the masseuse and the valet guy. That was it. So you need to worry. No, I think they're ecstatic. I watch a little footage, they follow him around the camera now. And he's technically not able to practice per se, but they said he's been showing up, as long as there's no rule, he can't come around the facility, stuff like that. So he's been there. So that goes to show you how antsy he is. He's very antsy. And here's the thing. When he gets in there, they expect him to hit the ground running.
That's the problem.
He don't even have the luxury of, get your feet under you. You ain't gonna hear that ever. He got the hardest job in the NFL right now because he has to come in. I don't care what the record is, what's going on, what's the momentum, who's playing, get in there and deliver because we're looking at that $46 million right now, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. But Fig, I gotta say, he is going to be an upgrade at the QB position. And Cleveland already was doing work with Jacoby Brissett at QB. They already were doing work. Imagine him coming in right now and mid-season. Coming in. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, he might do some stuff. I don't know. I won't put words in your mouth. What's your take, Fig?
The thing is with Deshaun Watson, it's like a double-edged sword, because like Talon said, he's been coming to the facility, but all he's been able to do is watch film. The bad side about it is he's been watching it with a bottle of Jergens lotion. So nobody knows. Nobody knows what kind of film he was watching. I was like, wait. The thing is that it's like you said, everybody has high expectations.
That's horrible. Yeah. That's
disrespectful. The funny thing is he's trying to continue seriously.
You might as well just go on with the lotion joke and expand on it. You might as well just expand on it.
Oh, but seriously, the bad part about it is that they're expecting a lot from Deshaun Watson. But the ironic part is this kid hasn't played football in over 2 years. So he's gonna have a little rust on him. You know what I mean? I don't care what you just don't come in off the street and start playing at a high level after not playing for 2 years. It takes a while, or he'll have an amazing first game and then have a drop off. Like it takes a while for you to get your athletic legs up under you in any sport. You just don't come off the street and have all of these guys that's been playing 9 weeks and then think you're going to play on their level. That I don't think that's going to happen.
That's how you know you married the institution. You don't just come off the street. He not just come off the street.
He act like he just came off the block. He just came out the trap house.
He talk like a real parent just now. You don't just come off the street, come in and think you're gonna play football. And go in there and take a shower. Get in that tub. You're not just coming off the street. This guy's a professional. And trust me, we know he's ready. It's not like he's coming off of some huge injury. He's coming off of missing games for booty. It's different.
Yeah. Mike, Sean, what's your take on this, bro?
My take is I second what Talon said because I heard them stories, the same stories Talon heard. But I heard the coaches got worried that in the massage room he brought candles, and and they heard Sade's music coming through the doors, and that's when one of the coaches actually went and said, "Listen, man." And the coach blew out all the candles, which Deshaun got very upset and he turned the lights back up and he said, "Listen, man. I don't know what you're used to, but this lady's trying to help you with your physical ability."
I don't know what you used to.
I don't know how you get down, but we sending a guy in here, okay? Mr. Lee, we're sending a guy in here to do the rest of the massage.
That's very funny.
Dog, Deshaun Watson, look, Big said it. I think he's really in a no-win situation.
Right.
Deshaun Watson would have been better off taking the whole year off, getting the off season and getting preseason and doing all that stuff. But he's jumping into the fire. Now, I just want to comment on Frank's. Frank said they're doing work. What, temp work? They're 3-6. Like, what work are they actually doing? This team is bad. This team is bad. Like, we keep acting like we all bring up the Nick Chubbs and everything like that. This team is not good. What they're asking him to do is in his first game and his first return, they're asking him to do the same thing he did with the Texans when they traded Andre Hopkins. What was the DeAndre Hopkins when they traded his number one receiver and they said, "Hey, why don't you do this all by yourself?" And he damn near did it all by himself. But they're asking him to do it again when he hasn't done that in 2 years. So I don't see him. I don't see him having a monster game, and I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and it's kind of unfair. But guess what? He kind of put himself in a situation.
Well, I should have elaborated when I said doing work. Doing work as they have the number 17th or 15th best offense in the league right now. You know what I mean? They better than a lot of other teams in the league. But let's keep it moving. Speaking of offense in the league, and
Frank, I just one caveat. They play the Bills. That's their next game. Oh, yeah, Lord.
But they play their Bills their next game, and there's supposed to be a ton of snow happening this Sunday in Buffalo when they
up to 2 feet. So here's the thing about the snow. It may come in projected for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if it stops after Saturday, that ain't gonna matter. But if it's still snowing Sunday, big time. 1 o'clock game, big time.
Not to mention, the Cleveland Browns got 2 great running backs. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they're a ground team. They can do it. But here's the thing. They're giving them 10 points, right? But Buffalo's favored by 10, which to me is an astronomical number, given the type of ground offense that Cleveland plays every time they play each other. Every time they play each other, it's on the ground, pound. And like I said, if that snow goes anywhere into Sunday, that's an early game, bro. It's still going to be a factor. Whether it's in the air or not is irrelevant. That field's going to be affected.
Yeah,
I don't know about the spread. I think I agree with Talent with the spread. I don't think they're going to cover the spread, but I don't think there's no way in hell the Bills are going to lose 2 home games in a row.
Well, right. We'll see.
I agree.
Here's the question for you. Will Aaron Rodgers now stay after Green Bay ended up getting an upset and defeating Dallas? Now Green Bay is now literally 4-6. They're second in the NFC. I think it's North right now. They're in second place. And people say, hey, Green Bay season's not over. They're 4-6. They sitting on the outside of the playoffs. They still have a great chance of making a run in the wild card spot. But like I said before, I still think he'll leave if they don't make the playoffs. What's your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers' thought process right now, as of today, as of November 15th, 2022? What's your thoughts?
I think the team knows that these next 2 games are going to decide it for him. He only needs 2 wins to be back at 500. Mm-hmm. At this point in the stage of the game, week 11 and 12, if you can get to 500, you can squeak into a wild card position if you're not already in there and creep into the playoffs. That's why these next 2 games are crucial. If they can pull off the win against the Titans Thursday night, again, keyword night, Thursday night against the Titans. So here's my thing. Thursday night, they at Lambeau. Mm-hmm. I think he might beat the Titans in Lambeau. And I like the Titans. But I also respect desperation. You got to respect desperation in sports. And these next two games is desperation for Aaron Rodgers, and depending on where he's going to stay or go. And I think they're going to lay it all on the line. And bro, I really, I would go with the Packers on the night game.
Okay, all right. The desperation is the key word here, Fig. And Aaron Rodgers will be playing desperate. Green Bay will be playing desperate because they didn't expect to win, but then they also didn't expect to lose 5 in a row either. So let's look at it like this. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay if they end up getting things right? But if they lose, they would have lost 5 out of 6 games. Potentially, they could have lost 6 out of 7 games because that win and against New England was definitely should have been a L. How do you think they look at this stuff? How do you think Aaron Rodgers will look at the situation?
Week 9, it seems the receivers are getting better. It seems like he's building chemistry. If they could go on to do something this year and not have a complete meltdown, which they've already had, it's going to be very difficult for Aaron Rodgers to stay there because Green Bay has a history of not really giving him the weapons that he needs to be able to do what he needs to do. A lot of that stuff that happened previous 2 years when he went MVP was basically a lot of that was on Aaron Rodgers. He's getting a little older now, and carrying the entire NFL team is proven to be a little more difficult. Like Talon say, he got the Titans on Thursday, a night game. Then he got to face the Eagles. The next one after that is the Bears. That's a divisional game. It could really, it could go either way, man. It's just like he's got a tough schedule ahead of him, man. So I don't know what, I don't know what he could do. If they lose, I see Aaron Rodgers wanting out, man. It's almost like like a Tom Brady. When you wasn't giving him the weapons that he needed, up there with the Patriots, then Tom Brady was like, look, man, if y'all not going to give me nothing to work with, then I'm going to leave. And I think Aaron Rodgers might do the same thing. And his money is still guaranteed.
Yeah, yes. Green Bay fix that. Mike Sean, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay especially if they don't make the playoffs this year? Because they on track to they winning, but it's a very good possibility the next 3 games they could lose.
I don't think the Green Bay Packers will do Aaron Rodgers any favors. They will keep him on purpose. They have already challenged Aaron Rodgers many a time, and Aaron Rodgers always come out on the short end of the stick. They're not going to trade him. First of all, if you trade him, the ironic part, the irony of this whole thing, that if there's a team that you could trade him to that he would make a huge impact on, would be the same team that Favre went to, the Jets. If he ever went to the Jets,
wow,
and they had a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers with what they're doing now, not saying the young boy ain't going to be a good quarterback, because I think people pile up on him, and I still think he's going to be a good quarterback. But imagine Aaron Rodgers coming there for 2 years, and that guy gets to sit down and watch him for 2 years, and then he comes in. That would be the way. But I don't think Green Bay is going to do him any favors. He tried to punk Green Bay earlier in the preseason, in the offseason. They ain't care.
Right.
They're like, we don't care.
Right.
You're going to stay right here. You're under contract. Everything's guaranteed. And I think Aaron Rodgers is underestimating these 2 receivers that he has. These 2 young receivers are going to be great. This Watson kid is going to be great. All he needed was Aaron Rodgers to put his arms around him instead of killing him for dropping that pass. I don't mean put his arms around like that, but put his arms around. How about this? Inspire the young man. Don't kill the young man in front of the cameras. He's a rookie. He can't fight back. Get to the guy and say, I'm coming. I'm still going to throw this pass to you. You're still going to get these looks. And I think Rodgers is underestimating Lazard and Watson and how good they can really be.
Mike, you got the take of the day so far, because if he does go to the Jets, and the Jets have tons of draft picks still, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? And their defense is the number 1 or 2 defense in the league right now. You know what I mean?
But I'm not giving all the picks up. Don't bankrupt yourself. Don't bankrupt yourself now.
They wouldn't do that. All they got to do is give away 1 or 2. You know what I mean? They'd still be in the mix.
Talent don't like that. Talent like Hickory Dickory Zach.
No. I you know me. One thing about me, I'm not in denial of how great Aaron Rodgers is. Take him in a heartbeat. That's not problem. Problem is, first of all, understand something. I totally understand how he feels about these receivers because put yourself in his shoes. It's very hard to be at the veteranship of your career, at that far up, and now you have the newbies coming in to retrain and recalibrate to get that flow going. That's a huge mountain of frustration to a veteran quarterback. That's why Brady did it the way he did it. That's why he went over there and started handpicking and placing people next to him that was already experienced. Because if you've been in the league as long as these guys have, and you're that level of quarterback, you can't play the game and babysit. That's hard to do. Young guys can come up together, but that old guy training that young guy to play the way he played, it's a lot more frustrating. And I'll say this about the Jets, and Frank's going to have to bleep this out and edit him, but if he comes to the Jets, you already know, Brett Favre.
What'd he say, Frank? That was cold. I didn't really miss what he said.
Because he knew he was going to swear, so I muted it. I don't have to edit.
Oh, that's hilarious. But real quick, everything Taylor said was absolutely correct. But I want to say this about Aaron Rodgers complaining about these wide receivers. 2 straight years, you had a home playoff game. You had the ball with the best wide receiver in football. And 2 straight years, you didn't pull it off. So you got a lot of audacity to now complain about these receivers. Now, I get it if you would have came through. But the last game you lost, you threw 2 interceptions in the red zone.
Yeah, he ain't talking about that no more because he threw 2 interceptions in the red zone. He's not talking about that. But and then on the New York Jets side of things, the New York Jets got 2 wide receivers who are upset. They're not even getting the ball, and plays not even made to get to the ball thrown to them, which is the reason why I think it makes sense because the Jets are literally they are winning right now. They're the number 2 or 3 seed in the AFC. He comes in next year. Yeah, they make a lot of things different. But anyway, question right now for UT: midseason MVP. It was Josh Allen up until 2 days ago. You know what I mean? It was a couple people. People now are saying it's got to be Kirk Cousins. Who's your midseason MVP right now? If you had to pick, right now, who would you say is my midseason MVP? Because Josh Allen slipped. You know what I mean? And a lot of people right now decided to say Kirk Cousins or Jalen Hurts right now, both sitting at 81, got to be, the leading. I don't even put words in your mouth. Who are your 2 guys right now for midseason MVP? I'm
the best guy in the driver's seat right now. I would squeak it out to Cousins, and not just because of the record, but because you are the guys that nobody's seen coming. So you had to do a little something extra. It's one thing when people already give you the press clippings. Josh Allen had the press clippings coming into the season. He had the press clippings. Oh, we project the Bills go to the Super Bowl. So you come in riding the press clippings. So it's yours to mess up at that point. And he did mess it up, with the turnovers and stuff like that. But Kirk Cousins, you know what he won me over, Frank? There was a play in the last game where he took off running. They needed the first down. And there was nothing there. The sea opened up, if you will. And he took off running. And then he got to the point where he could have slide like a bitch-ass quarterback does, right? Or he could say, I'm a football player.
Yeah.
And he stayed up and applied just as much as a hit as he was going to take as a quarterback, running with the ball. You jeopardizing everything just to make a statement of toughness. And that won me over. I ain't going to lie. That was the play they was like, they call him Kirk Thuggins.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was the play.
Thuggin.
And I was like, you know what? That's how I want my quarterback to be. Like, he knew it was all on the line. And all they kept talking about that game was how this team somehow, some way finds a way to win. They stay tight in the game. They find a way. They've done it so many times in a row. And here he is. While they're talking about it, he's living it out in real time. I would give it to him.
Okay. So you're watching this called Box Deep on the Humor Mill channel. Thank you all for watching. Continuing on this conversation. Fig, who is your midseason MVP?
My first thought was Patrick Mahomes, man, because he's been doing the thing. But here's the thing, Curtis is being overlooked, man. I feel bad. Curtis is 8-1. He's beaten some of the best teams out there, man. I have to rethink that, man. Maybe it is Curtis. Maybe I want to see I want to see Curtis come out and be like he did before when he was in Washington. Be like, you like that? You like that? Remember when he won it? That was
I'm
funny.
trying to figure out who Curtis is. Who's Curtis?
Curtis Cousins. Curtis is
Curtis Cousins.
yeah. We call him Curtis because you know, yeah.
Once he put the chains on, he turned into Curtis.
Yeah, it's Curtis. Yes. Once he put the chains on, he started dancing and got a little rhythm too. You know what I mean? I think what happened is Curtis went over one of the family members' house and you know, Auntie gave him some of that potato salad from the black neighborhood and got Curtis acted like, you know, he's somebody. No, but I would give it to Kirk Cousins, man, because he's playing above what people thought. And at a record of 8-1, you know, what are you going to do? Nobody talked about the Vikings during the preseason. Nobody talked about them during the season. People are just starting to think like, whoa, the Vikings are doing something. Yeah, they 8-1, man. And they play a really good game, man, which is like a throwback to a war. They play the Cowboys next. Remember the Cowboy Vikings games from back in the day, man? It's gonna be exciting 4:00 on Sunday.
They had a signature game, a signature win, Mike Sean, and probably definitely the game of the season so far. Kirk Cousins, to me, he solidified the MVP so far with that throw to Jefferson, you know, with 4th and 18 and tie the game. Like, I was like, this dude's got to be MVP so far. What's your take, Mike? In your opinion, who you think is the MVP so far this season?
Neither one of them two dudes. I got Tua all day. Tua is my midseason MVP.
Good point.
He's on pace right now to throw for close to 5,000 yards. Right now, he's got 18 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
You talk about a guy. See the thing. I feel the opposite way than Fig and Talon about being overlooked. To me, Minnesota got away. Games are easier when people overlook you.
True.
Miami was on the front page of every newscast when they got Tyreek Hill. So the pressure was on for Tua to prove to people that he'd be able to use Tyreek Hill properly. Well, guess what? He has. And a lot of people can say the midseason MVP could be Tyreek Hill. But since we're sticking with quarterbacks and rarely does anybody ever get the damn award other than quarterbacks, I would have to go with Tua right now. Tua has impressed me to no end.
Yeah.
And I think it's just gonna get worse. I think those weapons, he's just gonna get more and more familiar with the fact that, listen, when Tyreek Hill runs, throw the ball as far as you can. Just throw the ball as far as you can. And when you throw a short pass, just make sure you hit him in stride so he can go get it. That's all. And they got weapons.
I like your take, Mike. The only problem is as this football season goes on, it gets colder outside. When it's warm, Miami
Not
plays.
Miami.
No, yeah, maybe not in Miami. But
wait a second. Kurt is playing in the dome. Let's remember, Kirk Cousins is playing in the dome too.
I'm not talking about Kirk Cousins right now. I'm talking about Miami and the AFC. Kirk and them in the NFC, they still got to go outside. They got to go to the frozen tundra. They got to go play other cold places. They're gonna have some problems too in the cold. But since we talk about Tua and we talk about Miami, right now I think Miami's the number 1 seed in the AFC, bro. I'm looking at this right now. It looks like Miami's the number 1 seed,
which is crazy.
Which is insane right now. So let me ask you this, T. Miami being the number 1 seed, and he just said Tua for the MVP and everything else. Do you think Miami will be able to hold this out for the rest of the season? Because their schedule gets easier, supposedly. I haven't looked it up. The schedule, according to what these people are saying, their schedule gets easier as the season goes on. What's your take on this, T?
Fuck no. I got that in there.
He didn't even mute. Why'd you hit the mute?
Bleep out my good joke last time.
Personal foul.
You had a good. Hey,
watch this,
when the last time you had a good punchline out in purgatory like that? Listen, I don't believe in Miami, bro. So I say absolutely not. They won't hold the first place. And here's the thing. I'm happy. Being a Jet fan, that makes me happy because I want the teams that I know my team can beat to be high ranking because that helps my little path to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So yeah. Keep number 1 as long as you can because we can whoop that behind lovely. But I don't think they will. I think the AFC you're about to see this week 11, correct?
Yeah.
10.
10.
Is it 10 or 11?
10.
I think it's 11. Y'all crazy.
No, it's 10.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. I
Oh,
think
maybe you might be
I
wrong.
think-
Hold on, I think no, because
The
no, it's
Eagles
week
had a
11.
bye. The Eagles had a
It's week
bye. So
11 coming.
yeah.
It's week 11.
okay,
Thank you.
5
Wait,
and 2,
I don't
7,
know.
8.
One,
No,
two,
this is
three.
week 11. I'm looking right at it.
Okay.
Okay.
Week 11.
This week 11. We just had 10 this weekend. So here's the thing. The AFC is about to be in the next 4 or 5 weeks is just going to be a straight shuffleboard.
Yeah, it
Mark
is.
my words. It's going to be a big shuffleboard. It's not as stable as like putting your money on the Eagles and like NFC. We could kind of see a little more of the staples in the community, but on the AFC, this is wild west over here. So this is what's going to happen. The AFC is it's going to be a mad shuffleboard. I'm just banking on the best path in the AFC for the Jets when it comes playoff time. Do not let us get. I'm going to say lucky because when you wish for something, you need a little bit of luck. Do not let us get lucky and end up with a bye going into the playoffs. I tell you right now, if the Jets end up with a bye going into the playoffs, they will go to the Super Bowl. My words.
Okay, Fig, to switch the question up for you. Fig, this Buffalo lost and they're 6-3. Is Buffalo Bills now exposed on how they can be defeated because people have been playing the 3 losses they got? They were some good losses for them. You know what I mean? So basically, long story short, is Buffalo Bills exposed now?
I don't think. Listen, the only thing they're exposed to is that cold weather up there. The Buffalo Bills have been playing. They've been playing. To me, they've been playing their press clippings as opposed to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been playing down to their competition and turning over the ball. They've been turning over the ball a lot, like uncharacteristic turnovers. This is like rook stuff that you would expect a rookie to do, and this is a veteran quarterback back there doing this, man. And to me, it's just uncharacteristic. I think what they will do is, I think they will galvanize in that locker room and get back to the basics, like basic football,
Right.
Running, play action, pass, and get back on track like coming this week, man. Because if not, they're like a firecracker, man, that just like a dud just fizzled out because they started off hot and now it's like they're fizzling down when it comes down towards the end of the season.
Mike, being that Dallas lost a game they were supposed to win, and Jerry Jones has been on the air talking a lot about certain things and everything else. It looks like he's trying to circle the drain and starting to blame Dak Prescott. Do you think he's going to be able to hang up the loss on Dak Prescott, and will Dak Prescott have to shoulder the blame for all the losses that Dallas is starting to accumulate now, especially with them certain him in? What's your take?
It's the funny thing that how the numbers will be right in your face and you'll ignore the numbers and take the 2 Dak interceptions, which were bad. One was a crazy interception. The other one was a bad miscommunication with him and CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both Dak's fault because he's the quarterback. But your damn defense allowed over 200 yards in rushing. Like what exactly? Like when you have a 14-point lead and you're supposed to be a great defense, because I hear it every week. Yes. What a great defensive front they have. I hear it every week. The announcers brag about the great defensive front and how much pressure they can put on a quarterback. That's great. But like I said yesterday, who cares about pressure when we're not going to throw the ball? We just going to keep running it. So I think that there's equal blame to be put here. And let's also mention Mike McCarthy being the weakest link as a head coach. I was watching the game and I said, oh, Mike McCarthy's feeling himself. He's just going to keep going for it on 4th down. Okay, all right. So you got one of the best field goal kickers in football who's launching kicks from 60 yards, and you're a gangster. So you put this on Dak again. And what happened? You didn't make it. Instead of taking a field goal, because you have a great defense, don't you? Instead of taking a field goal and kicking the ball off, because you have a great defense. You should have been able to kick it off and say you should at least be able to hold them to a field goal. So there's a lot of blame to be shouldered here. Mike McCarthy and Mr. Boy Wonder, Kellen, what's his name? Kellen, why can't I?
The offensive coordinator guy? I don't know.
Yeah, Wonder Boy. He's the guy. He decided Tony Pollard had run from 150 yards. He said, you know what? That's enough. He put a cap on Tony Pollard. He said, that's enough running for you. We've had enough of all that success, all that getting first downs and all that breaking tackles. We've had enough of that. Give the ball to Dak Prescott and let him take control of this.
Enough of that.
So I don't understand. No, you can't blame this all on Dak Prescott. Just like you
So
can't blame any loss on just the quarterback.
All right, so talent, keep it moving. I just saw the news this morning that the Golden State Warriors is sending James Wiseman to the G League. And I didn't see any reasons why just yet. I just saw that before we got on the air. Do you think this? What are your thoughts on Golden State sending Wiseman to the G League? What's your thoughts on that?
He definitely pissed somebody off.
Oh boy.
I don't even think is the G League. Do we send you there because you ain't good, or do we send you there for punishment?
It's like going down south for black people or going sent to Puerto Rico for us.
That's what I'm thinking. And then some people I've seen over the past couple years, you go to G League, it's like purgatory. You never make it back. So it's a slap on the wrist, like, we need you to snap into shape. I don't know what's going on with you. You're not producing what we need you to produce, going down to G League, like a punishment. Now, the question, Frank, the bigger question is, how's he going to take that? Is he going to go down there, rip and ravage his way back out of there? Like, okay, I'm back, or we're going to not see him on Golden State after a while.
That's a great point. I got to hear Fig's explanation of why he thinks they're going down to the G League. What do you think?
I'll say this. When you're playing regular season games and stuff like that, he's not getting a lot of run. You remember James Wiseman was off for a long time, coming back off an injury, trying to get his NBA legs back together, his rhythm and all of that. So he did good summer league. Now you're playing guys that's a better caliber of ball player, and he's not doing that well. You get more playing time down in the G League. You know what I mean? You get to build up your NBA stamina. What a lot of people don't realize is one of their great players right now, young player right now, Jordan Poole. They sent him down to the G League, and he got a lot of playing time down there. Sort of got his confidence, his rhythm up and stuff like that. Then they brought him back up. Now the kid is doing absolutely amazing. This is not a bad thing when you have a veteran team with a lot of great players to be sent down to the G League. If this was a team that was full of rookies and second and third year players, you'd have a different story. Now I'd be like, yo, this kid may not be that good. But you got Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, you got Steph Curry. You got a lot of veterans that play quality minutes. Taking him down to the G League to get him some quality time on the floor in competition and then bring him back later on is not necessarily a bad thing in this time in his career.
Yeah, that's a great point, Fig. Mike Sean, what's your take?
I agree with what Fig said. So when I say this, I'm not disagreeing. This is the warning shot to all them other young players on there. Moody, Looney, Lamb, and to let Poole know he better keep playing. Because Steve Kerr knows we can't keep relying on Steph Curry to average 31 points a game for the rest of the season. Like, that's enough. Like, these young players are going, in order to win a championship, these young players are going to have to produce. Yeah. Moody and y'all can't just sit on the bench. Looney, you just can't come in for a few minutes. This is the warning shot. I think it's genius. And I think it's going to do Wiseman well. I think it will do him well if he takes it the right way, like Talon said. If he takes it the right way and takes it in a positive way, say, okay, I got to get my stuff together and build back up. But these cats, Steve Kerr, I give Golden State credit. I don't want to say it's a panic move, but I want to say it's just a wake-up move. Like, let's wake up, y'all. The people who won this championship are the vets. But we need y'all to make this run again, because right now things are struggling over there in Golden State.
Yeah, they sure are. Speaking of, I got to go through this real fast. It's 155. Phoenix went on a road trip just now. They went 1-3 on the road trip. Everybody was thinking that Phoenix is going to turn it around on the road trip. They ended up losing to Miami last night. Miami's got one of the worst records in the East right now. Not that they can't turn it around. But Phoenix came off this road trip and they ended up being 1-3. Any concern with you at Phoenix?
Well, I've been concerned with Phoenix. Only you guys think Phoenix is going to do something.
Oh,
I think Phoenix concerned me a year ago. So I think that we're looking at what it really going to be, Frank. I don't see Phoenix later in the season grabbing a 4 better seed this year. I think Phoenix is more like a 5 or worse seed.
Right.
You know, so they're kind of doing what I expect them to do. I don't expect them to run through the league and do this and do that. I mean, the West is going to be, the power shift has already happened.
Yeah.
You know, the Western Conference, we witnessed it from last year coming into this year, right in front of our eyes. We've seen the power rankings change. So now we're talking about the Utah. We're talking about the Memphis. You know, we're talking about those teams that were kind of the 6, 7, 8.
Right.
Now we're talking about them. And those guys who was the 1 to 4 are struggling.
Damn.
Yeah, 100%. Let me ask you this, Fig, to keep it moving. Milwaukee ended up losing last night. Milwaukee lost to Atlanta. People are concerned because Giannis got hurt. He ended up still playing just a little bit. Should Milwaukee had one of the best records in the league before the game last night. I think they're now tied for the best record with the Celtics. Is Milwaukee right now saying to themselves, we should take Giannis off for 2 or 3 days and let him get that ankle? Because there's no pressure. You know what I mean? No pressure. What do you think Milwaukee should do?
Well, yeah, man, because he's taking a lot on his shoulders right now. So, yeah, you want to rest your superstar. I don't think people really worried about Milwaukee in the sense that as long as they make it in, you know, Milwaukee, if they make it into like regular season is regular season, as long as Milwaukee makes it into 8, you know what I mean? Milwaukee could go to the play-in and still make it. The big thing with them is Holiday is also injured, and they still haven't got Middleton back. So you got Giannis doing a lot of the heavy lifting pretty much on his own without those 2 guys on the floor with him to help them out. So, yeah, you could rest Giannis and let these other guys get some playing time, which will probably help you out down the line during the later games in the season into the playoffs. Let these guys get some run and see what it is that they can do. And then Budenholzer will be able to do something with his rotation once these guys get back 100% healthy.
Mike Sean, give me 60 seconds. Utah right now has one of the best records in the league. Everybody expected them to have one of the worst records in the league. Utah is the surprise of the league so far this season. Do you think it'll continue out through the whole season, or do you think it's going to settle out and bottom out? And these boys are balling too. Let's not forget that either. What you talk about? What's your take on the Utah Jazz right now?
They're not going to keep this pace up, but they're not going to bottom out either. I think what they're doing right now is great. I don't think it's gonna stand because they got a lot of young guys in there who have never done a whole NBA season where the whole pressure was on them to carry the load. But I'm very impressed. And you got to give Danny Ainge credit. You just got to give Danny Ainge credit, man. He goes somewhere, he can rebuild the team, and he's amazing at that. I don't like him. I can't stand him, hate him as a player, as a coach, as a person, as a man, as a Virgo. I hate him. I hate him when he's at Chick-fil-A. I don't like him. So, and if I saw him, I would say that. I would repeat that if I saw him.
Hey, Mike, and Bruce Lee said it, Enter the Dragon. You have offended my family and the Shaolin Temple.
Okay, y'all, we gotta get ready to roll up out of here. So, T, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro. Talk to me.
Hey, listen, social media people, if you're on Twitter at It's Just Comedy, if you're on Instagram, Talent the Comedian, and King Talent Harris or NY King Talent Harris on Facebook. Holla at your boy, man.
There it is. Fig, talk to me.
At Comedian Fig, all social media platform. Box Seats, Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Best damn sports show on TV.
Mike Sean.
I'm on the Redeem Team comedy tour, and you can catch me the day after Thanksgiving somewhere in Atlantic City. I'm on the Redeem Team comedy tour at Mike Sean Comedy, and check me out in the morning. Media Room 360. The morning show pops off each and every morning. Yeah.
There it is. Dave the Business Bully and Rodney Perry should be back for the rest of the week. We come on again today, at 7 and 11. The Humor Mill app is where we broadcast on. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow, we got some more stuff to talk about. I still didn't even get to half the stuff I want to talk to today, but we're going to more talk about a lot of stuff tomorrow. Y'all watching Box Seat, best sports show in town. Thank you all for watching.